Hello Internet, my name is Lave and courtesy of Odeon's Screen Unseen, I watched Vice, the latest film from writer, producer, director Adam McKay, who's turning into a bit of a Hollywood powerhouse. You might know him from his little comedy films with Will Ferrell like Anchorman and The Other Guys, but he's also an award-winning director, winning the Oscar for The Big Short. And now he's at it again with his latest film, which is a biography, comedy, drama, history lesson about Dick Cheney, an unremarkable, uncharismatic guy who wound up becoming the most powerful vice president in US history during George W. Bush's time in office, where he was literally able to shape the world we live in today. So yeah, this one was a wild ride through our recent history. It shares a lot of the same DNA with The Big Short, which was an entertaining, funny but chilling look at the housing market crash in the US back in 2005. This one is doing a lot of the same things, but this one is focusing on the presidency and this one unassuming guy who accumulated all of this power. I would argue that it's even funnier, more entertaining, but even more chilling. Where The Big Short was breaking down the financial lingo and making it understandable and putting it into a bit of entertainment, this one is doing the same thing but with politics. Not as much, it basically focuses in on this one law called the Unitary Executive Theory, which is a law that Cheney exploited to give the presidency more power and in turn himself more power. And the most scary thing about it is that the film says it's still in place today, and considering who's sitting in the Oval Office, that's so scary. I walked out of this one just completely flabbergasted. But as a cinema experience, I was undeniably entertained as it crashes its way through history from Nixon and Watergate up to 9/11 and the war in Iraq. If a film is going to dump a load of exposition and explain it in a way that's understandable to me, then I want it to do it in an entertaining way. And this film does that. It's got the same sort of energy and pacing and editing techniques as Martin Scorsese's Wolf of Wall Street, with an element of David Fincher in there as well. If I do have any flaws with the film, I think one of them is the fact that some of the visual analogies and metaphors are a bit on the nose. It's not that they don't work, it's just a bit obvious. An example of which is that it establishes that Cheney is a quiet thinker. He lets other people talk while he plots his traps. It also establishes that he likes fly fishing, so it marries the two. As he's talking to someone and he's trapping his prey, he's also hooking the fish. It's not too subtle, but it does work. Also, like many other Oscar contenders, it's a bit wiggy. Steve Carell's character, Donald Rumsfeld, for example, has a few scenes where I could blatantly see the seam line on his head where they've stuck his wig on. But for the most part, the prosthetics are very good to make them age over time, and it obviously has a lot of confidence in the makeup department with some extreme close-ups on their faces. And speaking of the actors, there are so many in there to go over in such a short review, but Steve Carell gives a typically good performance. I really liked Amy Adams as Lynn Cheney, Dick Cheney's wife. She's not the driving force behind his success, but she's certainly a motivator. I thought she was very good. Tyler Perry has quite a small but significant role as well. I really liked Sam Rockwell as George W. Bush. I do wonder if they considered putting Will Ferrell in, but then I guess that would have made it too much of a parody. But still, Sam Rockwell I thought was some ingenious bit of casting there. And there's also a really good cameo from Alfred Molina, who's playing this waiter in a really, really funny scene. But really, this is all about Christian Bale, who delivers another powerhouse performance. He's transformed himself again with a bit of help from the makeup department, but the bulk of it is him. The thing with Christian Bale is I don't think he's the most charismatic actor working out there today, but he does have something really scary and intense about him, and they utilise it to good effect in this film when he breaks the fourth wall and he looks directly down the camera at you. It's really intense and really scary. It made me sit back in my seat and go, whoa, okay, sir, yes, sir, I'm sorry, sir. But despite the fact that he is such a quietly intimidating character, he does have one moment where he shows a bit of humanity, but then as he gets more and more powerful and his moral compass gets tested more and more, he loses it and he has a change of heart, which is another example of the film taking the visual analogies a bit too literally. Overall, it is a scathing look at this guy, and it's pretty clear that Adam McKay has strong feelings towards him, and you could argue that it is a bit of propaganda. It is very one-sided, but then they do make an effort to tell you that they've tried to get to the truth as much as they can, but then it is really hard to do an expose on the most secretive man in the White House. And the truths that it does uncover perhaps aren't surprising. It's all about the oil, but it's the truths that it's unable to uncover that I found most interesting. In this case, silence speaks volumes. So that's my thoughts on Vice, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. It's an undeniably entertaining piece of cinema. It's over 2 hours long, but it went so quickly for me because it is so well edited and put together. If you like films like Wolf of Wall Street and The Big Short, then it's a no-brainer. It's going to entertain you and shock you in equal measure. So thanks very much for watching this review. I really do appreciate it. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought down in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give it a like, and don't forget to share the Lave. Subscribe.